everyone, it's Katya with Hindustan Astrology here, and in this video we are going to go over this month of October 2025 Vedic Sidereal Astrology. Okay, now this month we have the big event happening, which is Jupiter is going into his sign of exaltation, which is Cancer. Yes, this is happening on the 18th. So basically, the first half of the month, we're going to be leading up to that. You're going to feel things shifting around you. And then once it does happen on the 18th, we're going to be here until December 6th. Then in November, Jupiter's going to go retrograde. So by December 6th, he's going to go back into Gemini. So we have a little window of time to get a taste of what this Jupiter in Cancer energy is going to be like, because next year we're going to have the rest of it after June, which is going to be very exciting. So let's take a look at the rest of the month, what's going on. Okay, so here we have the October 2025 Vedic Astrology forecast with me. I'm Katya, and my website is hindustanastrology.com. I do want you to know that I do have in-person readings available now in Bloomington, Indiana. I'm at the Fountain Square Mall in downtown Bloomington, and it is Suite 250. So just head on over to the website, and if you're not local, we can do it on Zoom as well. So go see what my offerings are. And I have lots of articles too. And don't forget to sign up for the newsletter. Okay, so the first week, we have our first aspect on the 2nd. At 6:14 p.m. EST, we have Mercury enters Libra, and he is now going to be conjunct Mars. So Mercury and Mars are actually enemies to each other. Mercury does a bit better in Libra because it is an air sign. However, we call this the lawyer aspect. So it's like using your words to fight. So if you are a Libra, or if you are an Aries, actually any of the other air signs like Aquarius, Gemini, just be careful with this aspect. Kind of like, watch what you're saying, because you might start a fight. But Libra is the sign of diplomacy, right? And it is the sign of law. And you'll find a lot of lawyers have a lot of planets in Libra. So this might actually be good for people that are, in those kinds of professions. But in general, Mars is giving his 8th aspect to Uranus. Saturn is giving his 3rd aspect to Uranus. So there is going to be some tension put upon Taurus. Anybody with, moon, ascendant, sun, and Taurus, you're going to feel this as well. But yeah, I would use it to study higher knowledge, music, even dance, the arts. This is a great way to utilize this energy. Then on the 4th at 5:06 a.m. EST, we have a Venus K2 conjunction at 24 degrees 1 minute of Leo, Purva Falguni. So what does this mean? Well, this is a very idealistic combination, actually. Whatever sign this happens in, when you have K2 and Venus together, it makes somebody who's very idealistic about love, maybe a hopeless romantic, a dreamer, that kind of thing. In Leo, having K2 in Leo is about humbling yourself, right? Letting go, right? Venus here might be asking you to let go of past relationships, past hurt. Obviously, wherever Leo is in your chart, that's where you're going to feel it. But there's always a shadow side, and the shadow side would be, it kind of acting like a Venus retrograde in a way, like old flames coming back that you really don't want to deal with again. That could be one of the expressions. But on the positive side, I really feel like this is a time to let go of even ideas about our own self-worth, right? Because Venus is self-worth and K2 is letting go of things that, negative thoughts in our head that aren't valid, right? Boosting your self-esteem is a great way to utilize this energy as well. Be careful of losing money as well, but money could also come in, right? Because Rahu is opposite. Now, I will say one thing. Leo is about leadership. And I've noticed this pattern with Venus. Whenever she sits with any of the malefics, it can indicate attacks on women. Depending on what planet it is, it flavors it, but the malefics with Venus can indicate attacks on women. So again, women, look what house this is in your chart. And, just be aware is the best thing I can tell you. Don't do anything silly like putting yourself in, you know, alone in situations where you can't get help, that kind of thing. It's much worse when Venus is sitting with Rahu. I have found that people that have, in their birth chart, Rahu with Venus, they are the ones that attack women. Um, or feel threatened by them in some way. And I've noticed, like with men, obviously it can be in physical aggression, but with women that have this, I find they kind of like, I guess you would call it gang stalk other women, like get other women to not like this one particular person, right? Kind of bullying. Yeah. So Rahu Venus for a woman can be an indication of a bully. So just be aware that this is going on, but yeah, best way to deal with it is to go to higher realms. Venus rules music and the arts, so that would be a great expression with K2 because K2 is like otherworldly. And people that have this in their chart, Venus K2, they can have this kind of otherworldliness to them, like otherworldliness, beauty or talent or whatever. And K2 is our ancestors, so they inherited it. So now, all right, October 6th at 11:48 p.m. EST, we have our full moon this month at 19 degrees 55 minutes of Pisces, Revati, which is what this chart is here. And we see the moon is conjunct Saturn retrograde and Neptune retrograde, and they are pretty close. They are pretty close. When Saturn goes direct, he's going to cross over Neptune again, but it's not this month. But anyway, having all of this together, let's unpack this. We've already talked about how Saturn retrograde, well, Saturn and Neptune in general in Pisces is about making our dreams a reality, right? It's also about, secrets being revealed. But it's really, on the most positive note, it is about working hard, Saturn, to make our dreams, Neptune, come to reality, Saturn. So having our moon here, it is, a good 13 degrees away, 16 degrees away. However, the whole sign of Pisces, it really is about therapy. You'll find a lot of therapists have either their moon or their ascendant or even their sun in Pisces, whereas Virgo is a lot more of the social worker. So this is a great time for us all to delve into our psyche, our sleep, our dreams, kind of uncover things from our subconscious that we didn't realize are there. And Revati Nakshatra is the wealthy star. It's ruled by Pushan, who is the shepherd. So he protects his flock. He's a protector. But it's also about travel and traveling to other dimensions, traveling to other countries. But Revati is it is the fixed star Alfurg, which is like the only star in Pisces that we use really. And because the rest of the stars in Pisces are actually in the Pegasus constellation. So, which is about travel. So Pisces is much more about travel. And Revati is where it is really strong, and especially because it goes Gandanta in this nakshatra. So, it's about endings and kind of dissolving before the rebirth in Aries. And, Pushan is, um, this is part of uh, crossing over into heaven. He takes you into heaven, and then Yama escorts you from there. So he is um, Yama is the deity of Bharani, which is the second nakshatra. So all of this is about death, rebirth, rejuvenation, um, new life. And so having the moon here on this full moon, it's going to be very beautiful. But it's asking us to let go of things that don't serve us anymore. Um, and again, look to where it is in your chart as to what area that's going to happen in. But I think this is going to be a very powerful full moon because Jupiter is just about, like we talked about earlier, just about to go into Cancer. We still have this tight conjunction. Pisces in Jyotish is ruled by Jupiter, and so that makes, Jupiter very powerful for this full moon. He is in Punarvasu, which is the star of renewal, and oftentimes we have to do things twice when planets are in this nakshatra. So, what else can I say? Let's see. Yeah, so this chart is from where I am in Bloomington, which puts the ascendant in Gemini. DC is about 6.5 minutes further ahead. So it's still in Gemini, it's still in Ardra. Ardra is the teardrop. So this could be, releasing, it's real, Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury's down here with Mars in the 5th house. So releasing, old flames that don't serve us anymore, letting go to attachments. It's all about attachments, isn't it? It's all about letting go of things that don't serve us. So this is going to be a very beautiful time to do that. And then focus on your dreams for this full moon. Focus on what you want to happen in your life. That's the most positive way to use this energy on the full moon, is to dream a new reality. Okay, now October 6th through the 18th, we have on October 9th at 1:20 a.m. EST, Venus enters Virgo debilitated. She will be conjunct the Sun until 17th. So about 12 days she will be with the Sun, but they are far enough in degree that she's not going to be combust. She's already done her journey, so that's a positive thing. So let's just talk about Venus in, excuse me, in Virgo. This is debilitation because she's exalted in Pisces, which is happy for no reason, right? So in Virgo, she's unhappy for every reason, very grouchy and critical of her partners, critical of people around her. However, this is the discerning eye that art needs, right? You need to have that discernment. You just can't let it take over, every aspect of your life, right? So people that have this, depending on what house it's in, because Venus rules relationships too, can be very critical of their partners, or their partners are very critical of them. And this is where Venus is disrespected. So people that have several planets in Virgo will often hit this landmine of the Venus debilitation. And I found a lot of, different forms of SA, abuse with women, attacks on women that have significant planets here. So, it's not always terrible when she goes through this every year, you guys, right? She stays in a sign about a month. But this is a time, I think, to clean up. I found people that have Venus in Virgo oftentimes are highly creative. but very messy. They kind of throw things around and create this chaos around them when they're creating. Um, so this is a great time to, go through old things you don't want, make your Goodwill box, that kind of thing. Give things away. That's a great way to express this. And then on the 13th at 10:52 p.m. EST, Pluto goes direct at 7 degrees, 8 minutes of Capricorn, Uttara Ashada. Now, the United States has our Pluto, let's see, 6 degrees, 49 minutes, 47 minutes. So it's very close. It's not, within 8 degrees, but it's very close. And I think some of our Pluto return issues might kind of crop up, which have been what? Pluto's in the second house for the United States. So, money, um, changing the way we use money. Second house is family. Second house is mouth. And so it's the food we take in, but also the speech that comes out. And look at the fights that we're having in Congress about the FDA. This is all Pluto return stuff with food. So I'm actually very happy that they have banned chemical coloring dyes in food. I personally am very allergic to the blue dye. Um, I'm highly allergic to it. So I know these things are poison, and it's going to be a wrestling match. But I think, ultimately the goal is to have cleaner, healthier food, and we're going to feel this when Pluto goes direct. And then on October 17th at 4:17 a.m. EST, we have the Sun entering Libra, and he's going to be debilitated. Now, he's going to be joining Mercury and Mars here until they go into Scorpio. Um, so having Mars close to the Sun, I think he's still combust. So already having the sun debilitated, our vitality will be low, but having Mars there too, we're going to get burnt out. So be careful of the burnout and just make sure, you're eating right, taking your vitamins, sleeping. It's very important when this starts for like the next couple weeks. And then the big event for October on the 18th at 10:18 a.m. EST, we have Jupiter entering Cancer, where he is exalted opposite Pluto. Wow. So this is going to really intensify also with that Pluto going direct. So let's talk about Jupiter and why he's exalted in Cancer. So Jupiter is guru, right? He's our teacher. He teaches us spiritual matters, earthly matters. He represents abundance, expansion, growth, wealth, children. For a woman, he is the spouse. And so it's a very, very important planet. And it's actually, they say, you should really look at your chart as if Jupiter is your ascendant, because that's how important he is. I mean, you can look at your chart from every planet, but when you look at it from Jupiter, you see something that you won't see otherwise. So he is, I feel, exalted in Cancer because Cancer is the mother, and who is the best and first teacher? It's the mother, right? And this is a gentle sort of motherly teaching, right? It's not full of ego. And Jupiter is debilitated in Capricorn because Capricorn is a bit stoic. It's a bit, can get a bit snobby, elitist. And so Jupiter is debilitated here because this kind of puts him up in that ivory tower, that professors, can get into sometimes, separate themselves from their students, and not connect with them emotionally. But Jupiter debilitated can also be somebody who is not confident in what they know. And I had a very interesting thing happen with a client a few months ago. She had this Jupiter in Cancer, and she loved to learn. She loved to learn, different things. And she was always taking classes and workshops. And I said, do you do that because you're not confident in what you know? She said, no, I just love to learn. But what I'm not confident in is being a mother. And how interesting that is because Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. So always keep that in mind, right? That uh, mothering issues, the mother can influence that debilitated Jupiter. And I will say, though, Jupiter in Cancer can be arrogant. All, all exaltations can be arrogant because it's too easy for them, right? Like it's an area of life where, because it's so easy, they have a tendency to take it for granted and take other people for granted in that area of life. Whereas a debilitation, if it's aspected well in a chart, can really strengthen somebody because they have to work on it. It's a challenge, right? So debilitations can bring strength, where sometimes exaltations can bring weakness. It's all about the aspects. But I just thought you guys would find that interesting that she was not confident in her mothering skills. So look where Cancer is in your chart. Having it opposite Pluto, this is gonna, this is all about. I feel the economy is going to be kind of rebirth, dug up from the dead kind of thing, and things are going to get positive. So let's keep our fingers crossed. And then for the last well, I guess it's almost 2 weeks of October, on the 21st at 8:25 a.m. EST, we have our new moon at 4 degrees. I'm sorry, yeah, 4 degrees, 8 minutes of Libra, which is Chitra Nakshatra. So look at all this pileup down here in the first house. Again, this is from DC. And so it's, from Bloomington, but in DC, it will still be in Swati and in Libra. Because from DC, it affects the whole country, right? But let's just take a look at this. So Sun is debilitated. Moon's in Chitra. Very close to Spica, which is good because that's the star of opportunity. Swati is showing us having to, compromise with others and get along. And especially after all of the violence we've seen lately here in the US, the focus is on getting along and not going to extremes. So that's interesting that we're going to have this at the end of the month. Mars, he's in Vishaka. Vishaka is ruled by Jupiter. It's about competing, it's about being driven for your purpose. And again, Mercury here in Libra is not terrible. This is where he helps us to communicate peace. Now, again, Mars is giving his 8th aspect to Uranus retrograde. He's giving his 4th aspect to Pluto. Saturn is giving his 3rd aspect here. He's giving his 10th aspect to Sagittarius. Venus is debilitated. So yeah, this is all about us finding a way to get along. For the US, our birth chart has a Sagittarius ascendant. So this is taking place in the 11th house of communities. So I feel like this is a good thing. And we could even see a peace deal in the Middle East, which, please, Lord, let this happen. Today, I read through on Instagram the deal that Trump wants them to sign. Them, I mean the big I. And, it's going to be a lot of back and forth, but I feel like that this is a good sign for peace in our community. What else do we have going on here? See, Venus is in the 12th house from this. Hey, Venus does great in the 12th house, okay? She is debilitated, but again, a debilitation is not always a bad thing, you guys. It means we have to work on it. And the 12th house from this, the 12th house is foreign lands. So we could see some sort of peace deal at this time. I really hope. Jupiter has just touched into Cancer, making the moon even more powerful during this new moon. And what is a new moon? It's a new beginning. I'm feeling hopeful, and I hope you are too. Um, yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. So October 24th at 3:04 a.m. EST, we have Mercury going into Scorpio. And Mercury in Scorpio, he loves to be in Scorpio. Why is that? Well, because Scorpio is about secrets, the occult, and Mercury is the scribe and the researcher. And so in Scorpio, he does great. He is able to, dig to the bottom of a haystack and find the needle. My best friend actually has this, and she does a type of work where she does a lot of research, and they're always amazed at what she comes up with because she can always find the answer to something. It's just the way their brains work. Um, and then on the 27th at 6:13 a.m. EST, we have Mars entering Scorpio. So they're going to be riding, shotgun with each other for a little while. But Mars rules Scorpio. So, this is excellent. This is where our energy, our vitality is put to good use. And, you know, like I said, there's going to be back and forth with this peace deal. So this could indicate, a little uprising. But I think the way things are going with Jupiter and Cancer now, I think we're heading towards resolution rather than going back and fighting. So this could show that. Yeah, I feel good about that. So if you want to come see me, I would love to see you in person. Just know that if you book an in-person reading, you have to book for the next day. In other words, you can't book the same day because I live like 20 minutes away and I have to get in there and yada yada. So, but readings online, you can book the same day. So if you're somewhere not close, everything's on Zoom. I offer Vedic astrology, tarot, mediumship, and Reiki healing. So just head on over to hindustanastrology.com, and I would love to see you in a reading sometime. All right, you guys, I hope that you got something out of that. And also remember, I also do student tutoring. So I would love to see you in class sometime. I can help you with whatever you're doing. And I am an actual academic tutor over on Varsity Tutors. So I have been doing this, gosh, since 1992. It's when I started teaching English. So I can help you with whatever you need. And I hope that helps you guys. Namaste. And now we're going to head over and do our tarot section. Okay. Okay, so now let's see what the tarot has to say for the month of October 2025. All righty. So, first card we have is Ace of Swords in the South, and it is reversed. So, I feel like this is heralding the incoming energy of Jupiter. And this is the upright, you can see that it looks like insemination, right? This is the ground. This is a sword. And in this instance, the sword is air. And because some decks it's fire, and some decks it's opposite for swords and wands. But in this deck, swords are air. And this is heralding a new idea. Now it's reversed, meaning that it's incoming. Remember, guys, reverse cards aren't always negative. A lot of times it's just an incoming energy or an outgoing energy. So this is showing abundance coming in because we are bringing masculine and feminine principles together for creation. Now, the center card is probably one of the best cards This is Nine of Cups, and they call it Fortune in this deck because it's like the wish. I call it the wish card. Our wishes are coming true. So this is showing Jupiter in Cancer. Cancer is a water sign. Nine actually belongs to Mars. But nine is like, the end of a cycle, right? This is like a culmination, nine and then 10, and then you start over. So this is showing the abundance that's coming in with Jupiter. And then our third card is the Emperor reversed. And this is all about masculine principles, right? And also, it is the Aries card. And Aries is associated with war, and it is reversed, showing us that I feel peace will reign, war is going out, and even leaders could tumble with this. The emperor is, the king, the emperor, right? And K2 and Leo being in Leo, being conjunct with Venus is showing that, uh, we're going to see some leaders topple. Okay. Um, and why is that? Well, Venus isn't just love and beauty and relationships. She is what we value. So our values are shifting, showing that our leadership needs to change. So I feel like this is going to be a great month, especially by the middle, right? Because this is like beginning, middle, end of month. So keep your eyes on the prize, Nine of Cups. Excellent, excellent card. Okay, you guys, so that's it. And, again, I'm here for you if you want any help. Make sure you head on over to my blog. I write every day the daily forecast. And I use the forecast from the moon because I find that, it really affects everybody. And also, make sure you check out my offerings, things in my shop. I do have the white peony root coming back in stock here pretty soon. Within, I'd say, like the next month or so, I should have it back. But until next time, namaste, and I'll see you later. Bye.